won't get it right the first time. You'll get better at it. But start small and build the muscle memory around the process of looking at numbers. And once you start seeing these numbers and start the why, that's going to tell you maybe we need to adjust this thing a little bit. Because the other beautiful thing about numbers is when you get the right ones that everyone's focused on, they become their own language. Everyone knows exactly what this number means, why we're tracking it, how we impact it, and therefore the team collectively owns it.
Welcome to Beyond the Business Plan. I'm LeAnn Lyon, your guide on this journey to success. We will explore the inspiring stories of visionary leaders and groundbreaking entrepreneurs and unveil the tools and strategies that can empower you to manage your business from anywhere in the world. Join me, LeAnn, as we learn, laugh, and take the leap towards unleashing your joyful business journey. And let's make it happen now.
My guest today is Lynn Corazzi, a former Procter & Gamble finance leader who traded corporate life for a front row seat to real business challenges. Now, as a fractional CFO and founder of Data to Profit, the 2 is the number 2, he is known as the data magician, the one who turns "I hate numbers" into "Ooh, now I get it." Lynn helps business owners take control of their finances, boost profitability, build long-term value, and grow personal wealth. Think of him as your financial translator, turning accounting speak into plain English so you can finally feel confident about your numbers. Lynn lives in Wisconsin and has been married since the late 80s, raising 3 adult children, 2 orange cats, and 1 special boy who calls him Grandpa. Lynn, are you there?
I am. And let me tell you, I wish every introduction was that enthusiastic, was that personal. I just sat there and smiled the whole time I heard it. I love it. Thank you.
Well, you know what? That's really the job of being a good introducer. It's not just about having something, but really, putting some life into it. And truly, I don't have guests on my show that I haven't met. We are not strangers to each other. But our first conversation was so much fun, and I just knew that this would be as well. And truly, I love the spirit that you put into helping me craft your introduction, the data magician and everything else. You have a very fun personality anyway.
Well, and fun is really part of my brand, just because I know that so many business owners, they started their business because they wanted to make the best muffins or do this great service, not to manage a bunch of numbers. And they avoid it and they don't want to do it. I said, gosh, we need to talk about these things. And so we are going to have a lot of fun working together, just because that's how we're going to get through our day.
What's kind of funny is that I don't have a virtual background. Anybody listening to the podcast, you can also catch us over here on YouTube. And I have a lot of books on the bookshelf behind me, but this book, Lynn, was right next to me. And I'm holding up the book, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Are you familiar with it?
I'm not.
Oh, it's funny because that's exactly what you were talking about. The subtitle is Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. And it's really about creating standard operating procedures, because so many businesses don't. And in here specifically, a business owner named Sarah, who loves to bake pies, just, is told, "Oh, you're so good at baking pies. You should go into a pie making business." And suddenly she finds herself so slogged down with all the stuff. She's not even enjoying or even making pies. She's hiring people to do the thing she loves to do. Have you run into that yourself?
I see it all the time. I'm guilty of it. Okay, when I started my business, it was just me. And all of a sudden I went from this corporate environment, even with smaller companies, there were still teams of people that did IT. They did the marketing. They did the sales. They did the operations streamlining. But when you're your own person, you're wearing all those different hats, and I actually became last October my best customer because I bought a service, SEO, that I did not fully understand from a company that I didn't vet, that I didn't know what good performance actually looked like. And I found myself, when I gave them my website to upgrade, they failed miserably in that. Then I realized they failed miserably at SEO. And I felt after 7-8 months of paying that I was ashamed because I didn't know. I felt embarrassed because I wasted all this money, and I really didn't know where else to turn.
Wow.
Until I reached back out to a marketing person that I met years and years ago and said, Lisa, I needed to hear a friendly voice today. and just working with somebody. And I thought, God, that's what I try to do with people and their numbers. But we happen everywhere. If you need someone like a Lisa, or you need a COO, and you're pulling all these people there, chances are you probably need several people. And so what I love to tell people now is, if we work together, you're not just getting me, you're getting my entire network. Because quite frankly, sometimes you even have bigger problems in your finances that you don't know how to deal with.
There's so much I'm loving about this. First of all, do you know, maybe you remember, we have something in common in that we both really actually do love numbers. I was a 7th grade math teacher back in the 90s, and I really did. I chose math, though, a little bit more out of the I can do it and I like it than like it was the only thing I wanted to do. I could have become a teacher of any type. I just wanted to be a teacher. But it made sense for me since I wanted to work with middle school. And when I thought about the work that I was going to do, I was like, well, let's see, I don't want to correct 1,000 English papers. Not really that into science. I could do it, but I'm not that into it. Social studies has not really been my thing. So I kind of chose math by accident, but also intentionally. So we have the math thing in common.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about that is I really don't like numbers. I use them. I'm very good with them, quite frankly. But if I had to do something to make it simple, I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to turn all those numbers into one picture, because they always, everyone knows the phrase, picture's worth 1,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a good chart is worth 1,000 numbers.
Yes.
And the trick is to simplify it so people can relate to it and not be overwhelmed by it. And that's it. There are just so many numbers in your business that I don't know where they come from. I don't know what they do. I get this report from my accountants. I have no idea what it means because they've never explained it to me. And I hear this over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, but most business owners at some point have to kind of go back and restart and relook at what are they doing. I have been terrible at tracking some of my numbers. Flat out. I may like numbers and I love charts and graphs and I can get into them, but for the most part, tracking all the little details and numbers really isn't my jam. I'm more of a creative thinker. I'm more of a visionary thinker, a big picture thinker. And so to actually sit down and track the statistics of website hits and dollars per click and anything like that, that really isn't my jam. And that's where, like you said, we need to find those people when we're ready to do the things for us that we can get out of our own way. But you know what? It's not always possible right at the beginning.
No, and actually some people go overboard. I worked for a large cheese company here in Wisconsin. And when we started talking about KPIs, there were some, the owner and a few other people got really excited about this. So we went from KPIs to lots of KPIs to many KPIs to a numerous number of KPIs to an onerous amount of KPIs. They wanted to track everything. No. Figure out which are the 4, 5, 6 numbers that really move your business. You won't get it right the first time. You'll get better at it. But start small and build the muscle memory around the process of looking at numbers. And once you start seeing these numbers and start the why, that's going to tell you maybe we need to adjust this thing a little bit. Because the other beautiful thing about numbers is when you got the right ones that everyone's focused on, they become their own language. Everyone knows exactly what this number means, why we're tracking it, how we impact it, and therefore the team collectively owns it.
Beautiful. Are you familiar with the book Traction? Okay. Are you talking traction right now a little bit?
There's a little bit of traction in there just because, I got an up close and personal view of traction because one of my clients was an EOS shop. So I ran the finance and accounting, weekly meetings, and I was part of the leadership team there. And then actually a lot of the referral partners that I have right now are EOS implementers.
Okay.
We both speak the same language about the importance of numbers.
Yeah.
And they're talking about owners like, you need to align on this. You need to start working on this because numbers guide and they tell the story. And there's just this natural affinity between what I do and what they do.
And for our listeners, Traction is another book available. It's widely used, as Lynn has said, by a lot of businesses. We implemented it when we had a manufacturing company. I say we, my husband and I own a manufacturing company. We implemented it and we did see a big change in how we ran things and how things came together once we did it. It's not really meant for a solopreneur, and yet if you're running a business that could become bigger, it's not a bad place to start because it also starts at the foundational values level. Like, what are your true values as a business? Which is really great to know before you hire people and then maybe need to hate to say it, but maybe have to let some people go eventually too.
Yeah. Part of my philosophy is kind of wrapped in, three different words. I'll just say the corporate words first, then in plain English, tell you what they mean. Strategy, capability, and culture. Strategy is where are you going? Because if you don't have a roadmap as to where you're going, you react to everything. Capability is how you do things. This comes into your processes. What skills do you offer? What are the things that you do better than anybody else? How do you deliver your services? That's the capability. And culture is who's on your team and making sure that you are sending. So back to your vision thing, how do you manage that group of people? How do you create that way of life in your business that everybody knows where they fit and how they contribute? And if all those things can be aligned, you are running a very, very, very well-oiled machine. If they are going in different directions and you're missing one, things are going to go wrong.
I think I'm going to have to listen to my own podcast again after this is all over.
Well,
this is your brilliance.
Well, and it's not my brilliance. Frankly, it's a lot what I've learned after years of working with Procter & Gamble, the cheese company, and just talking to hundreds of other operators and the people who serve them. And it's really just boiling it down into a couple of principles that people can easily learn and apply. Because, you pick it up along the way and you begin to realize and appreciate things happen for a reason. And there's this great corporate experience that people like I have that is just not accessible to a lot of people starting in their entrepreneurial journey or just starting their business, because you're never exposed to it.
Which is a great time. We're going to take a little break and come right back to that because there's a whole bunch to jump in on that. I do want to say we have something else in common, so many things in common. We've got numbers, we've got traction, we've got cheese.
Gotta love it.
I may live in Minnesota, but I'm married to a man from Wisconsin, and Packers and cheese, that's what we've got that going too. It's the one dairy product that neither of us really wants to give up. Besides maybe, grass-fed butter. Okay, we'll be right back. And I have so many more questions. We're going to dive more into what he was just talking about, that when you're starting out, what's it like when you're starting out as an entrepreneur? What was it like for Lynn? So we will be right back. Hey, coffee aficionados and entrepreneurs, LeAnn Lyon here. Are you craving that caffeine kick, but looking for a healthier alternative? Well, 9 years ago, I discovered the ultimate collection of energizing options to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit without the jitters. Discover your next favorite pick-me-up today and keep your business dreams brewing strong. Hear what it did for me by visiting this website, whyilovemycoffee.com. Yes, that's the URL, whyilovemycoffee.com, because your peak performance deserves more than just another cup of joe. And we are back. We are here with Lynn Corazzi. He is a cheese connoisseur. No, maybe not. He works with the cheese company. Do you like cheese?
I love cheese. Let me tell you, this is an Italian cheese company, and they made a great product into a lot of, actually, our product went into a lot of independent restaurants, predominantly Italian restaurants and pizzerias. And even there, I got to talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and see things up close and personal, the way that they think and what were on their minds. And so working in food service for a lot of years just makes you understand there are some key things that you really got to pay attention to. If you haven't figured out what those things are in your business, do it now. Get, call LeAnn, call your EOS implementer, call whoever you need to. You do not have to go it alone. Don't grow it alone.
Right. Absolutely. And there really is no reason to, like Lynn said earlier already, he said, look, when you work with Lynn, you work with the people he works with. Joyminder Solutions also has lots of experts like Lynn that we work with and that we can recommend, and software. And that's our whole trusted tools, curated connections, business ideas. It's all there for you when you're ready to take that leap into business. But Lynn, you started with a bigger company. I've heard of Procter & Gamble before. I think it's a big company. Just give me, what is it, top 100, I'm sure. But what was the moment that you realized that you wanted to embark on your own entrepreneurial journey, that you were kind of done with the W-2?
I left P&G because I realized that I was a cog in the machine. Mm-hmm. And at that point in time, I looked at it, it was a difference of having a series of very well-paying jobs. I'll admit, P&G paid me pretty darn well, but I would never have the impact as I could at a smaller company. So I took the P&G expertise to a small cheese company, spent a lot of years with them too, doing some really, really cool things. We built proprietary systems that I can go on and on and on about. But even there, realized, okay, there was only so much. I was now in a routine there. And when I left there, that's when I became almost the accidental entrepreneur, because I didn't know what I was going to do. And I started to tell people, yes, I'm looking for a job. I'm telling other people I'm thinking about starting my own business. And finally, a guy named Lori Rifkin, told me, Lynn, you're confusing the heck out of people. Pick one and go do it. So I started my business with a great idea that turned out to be not so much of a great idea. And it evolved over time. So I went from talking to somebody who spent years, I squandered years of my life talking to people about data and data analytics, and realized I was causing people's eyes to glaze over. And then I worked with a business coach who said, Lynn, what you do with numbers is magic, and you're going to become known as the data magician. I said, Pat, I can't say that. He said, well, Lynn, think about it this way. With the way you look at numbers, what you do, how you interpret them, just remember that to a caveman, a Bic lighter is freaking magic. So, okay. And sometimes you just need somebody to really call out, the flaws in your own beliefs or the way that you're approaching things, and get some good advice. And that really set me on the journey to becoming, for all practical purposes now, a fractional CFO. It was a fun journey along the way. And when I started my business, I knew nobody. Now the greatest thing that I can do, and one of the things that gives me joy, is being able to say, Diana, you need to meet Anna, because she's going to be your new best friend when it comes to taxes.
Yeah.
That's a conversation I literally had like an hour and a half ago.
That's so perfect. So what do you wish you had known before you jumped into your entrepreneurial journey?
I wish somebody had really told me just how hard it was going to be.
Okay.
because of all the things that you have to figure out on your own. And, and the first couple of gigs came really easily as I told people that I used to work with, oh, here, I'm going to recommend you. And I was in front of a home builder down in Dallas that built 1,000 homes a year. And I'm telling them things about their business that they'd never done before. Someone else gave me a recommendation into another e-learning company. Went in there, let's put this process in place. Working with even just a small landscape company, it's like, God, you're getting all this really bad advice from me that's actually saving you tax money, but there are just so many better ways that you could have done this. And so nobody tells you all this stuff going into it. So I wish I would have done more homework instead of just kind of like jumping into it. And I wish I would have hired somebody earlier to manage the inbox to help develop some of the processes, because I thought, hey, I'm not, I'm doing okay, but if I pay somebody else, I'm giving money away. But really realizing that, okay, if I pay somebody else $15 an hour to manage my inbox, that's that's several hours a week that I don't have to do that.
I'm going to add on to that too.
So learning some of these things, being afraid of spending money probably cost me a lot of money in the long term.
Yeah, there's so much to that. And you can, like you said about the KPIs earlier, you talked about the guy who's like, we love KPIs. We really, really love KPIs. You can go overboard even on getting help too.
Yes.
I think looking back, I think I jumped into hiring help actually a little bit early. I mean, I knew what I knew, but I felt like, oh, I felt a little, this is very hard to say, but I felt a little entitled to have help. I had run a manufacturing company before. I had help in the manufacturing company before. So when that closed and I launched into something new, I kind of felt entitled right away to have help that maybe I couldn't quite fully, didn't maybe need yet, and couldn't quite fully afford yet. And so it is a tough balance between the two things. Now, but I want to add on one more thing. When you do bring people in, you kind of start to feel a responsibility for them and their lives. And there's a beauty to that. There's a beauty and a challenge to that because they still need to do their job if they're still employees. But man, it's so cool to see making a difference. I have most of my people are in the Philippines doing amazing work. And I know things about what hiring them is doing for their lives and for their families in terms of college or getting a car. Women in the Philippines don't drive a lot, but a couple of mine do. And that's cool.
Well, that's another thing we have in common. My VA is in the Philippines.
Excellent.
And we have a standing meeting every Monday morning at 8:00. And we usually kick off starting with, what's going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
She's got some challenges with kids.
Just like traction.
Yeah. But you're right. You said something about, okay, you felt like you were entitled to the help. And sometimes people rush to farm things out. And this is where I got to put the plug back in. It's like, understand what these people are doing for you, because I don't like numbers. Oh, a bookkeeper takes care of this? Great. It's on their court. And the wrong person can really mess things up for you.
Yeah.
Make sure you understand, again, coming back to my incident as my own best client, is make sure you understand what they do.
For sure.
What do they not do?
Yeah.
What does good performance look like? What questions should you ask? And that's all part of the conversations that I like to have with people. You don't need to know how the sausage is made. You don't need to become the expert in accounting, but by gosh, you need to know what those numbers mean, when something looks off, and what expectations you could have. Did you know that you can actually tell your bookkeeper or your accountant, I want my books done by the 5th day of the month? The first time I started working with my longest term client, I was telling her data has 4 C's, just like a diamond. It's got to be complete, correct, clear, and current. And she goes, oh, let me show you this. And she pulls in her email, and this is mid-June.
Yeah.
And she said, I just got in the mail today. What do I do with it? And her CPA was just sending her March financial statements.
Oh.
3 months late. It says, Jamie, there's really not a whole lot you can do with them. No, ignore them. We're going to reset expectation.
Excellent.
She didn't know.
Yeah.
She didn't know what to do with them. She didn't know what she should have gotten. But this is all part of understanding what good financial management looks like.
For sure. Yeah. And going back to the E-Myth as well, putting together those SOPs, the standard operating procedures, in this world of AI, guess what? It's a little easier. I'm using a tool right now. You can find it on Joyminder Trusted Tools that does take pictures of me as I do things. So even when I took back doing things that I had farmed out, that I could totally do. In fact, some of the things I enjoy doing, and I farmed them out, which is a little confusing. But she did that in the book too. Mm-hmm. And so taking them back, now I'm creating automatic SOPs while I do the work. So if I decide at some point, and I do plan to, says you said, farm it out or allow somebody else to do it again, they will have very specific step-by-step, this is how it gets done instructions so that it'll reduce any confusion. The other side reason to have SOPs is sometimes things happen. What if your trusted VA has an accident of some sort or goes on vacation and suddenly you, the business owner, because you're small, you now have to send out the emails. Wouldn't it be nice if your VA created an SOP so you know how they do things, so it's not different or just missing for an entire week of your business? So yeah, there's a lot of reasons to put these things together.
Or even if they just go away and you've got another VA coming in behind them.
Yep.
And this is all. But this is all that stuff there. Oh, it takes so much time to document things, and I don't like doing that kind of work. It is absolutely critical that if you've got a standard way of doing things, and even if you use that document to train somebody else,
right?
Whether it's you in a video or you walking through them, it's also you as the owner is communicating your expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, don't just hand the new hire your brand new employee handbook that talks about your culture, how you expect customers to be treated, what good dress, good behavior looks like while you're working behind the register. That is the onboarding process. That comes back to that whole culture, right? How do we do things here? What do we stand for? The capability is all in your operating plan, and all this stuff comes together because you have a direction of your business that you wanted to grow in.
Yeah. And share your vision with your people. When you get to the point of having people, make sure that they understand your vision. And it comes again back to traction, your values, what you stand for, what you won't stand for. And it just makes the future a lot easier.
Well, and if you take that approach in hiring for the right fit within our business, you can teach people technical skills a whole lot easier than their behavior.
Yes.
So make sure that you are interviewing, and even your job description said, we're looking for fun, outgoing people to welcome our customers into our restaurant. Not as, you're going to take orders and punch the numbers into the cash register. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
I went into 2 separate pizzerias on Long Island with the sales rep. And one was empty. And we walked in there. The guy's like, oh, he was almost like disturbed that we were in his restaurant at 1:30 in the afternoon. We left there, went down the street, and he was complaining how bad his business was because it was there. We walked down the street, literally six doors down. There was another restaurant. Hello, come on in. We're so happy to see you. Be right with you. The place was packed.
Yep, absolutely.
Your culture, the expectations, how you want people to behave in your business. Culture, the definition of it is it's a way of life. How do you want people to live their lives while they're in your business?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I want to ask you about mentorship. We're going to take a quick little break. We're going to talk about mentorship. And then also, a very, very, very special opportunity for our listeners to connect with you. You know, they can anyway. We'll give that information too, but you're going to be on the next Restart Your Business Summit with me too. We'll talk about that right when we get back.
Okay.
Hey, sales setters, are you ready to jumpstart your entrepreneurial journey or give your business a powerful refresh? Join us at the next Restart Your Business Summit, where you'll discover the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive. Learn more at joyminder.com. That's JOYMINDER.com, and look for the Restart Your Business Summit icon. Don't miss out. Your future business awaits.
And we are back. This is LeAnn Lyon. This is the Beyond the Business Plan show and podcast. My guest today is Lynn Corazzi. He came from big business to create his own business. He's a fractional CFO, and he's amazing. Lynn, as you've grown, as you've evolved, as you've left a big business, created your own, what part did mentorship or community play for you?
Actually, it's all been really important to be part of something bigger. And actually, that's one of the harder things as you step into your own business, and all of a sudden, like, everyone around you is, some days the only people I see other than virtually like this is my two oranges, because they come around and we have team meetings and they don't talk back much. They're perfectly good employees, actually. Sometimes they're not all the most productive things, but you miss that daily connection with people.
To be clear, he's talking about orange cats, not fruits. Just to be clear, orange cats.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It has to be clear, right? I was not clear in saying orange. So in working with people at other companies, there's naturally teams there doing similar things that you can bounce ideas off. You can do this. You got to build that network for yourself. Who are those people in your life that are, going to be the sounding boards for you? And who are the people that are going to guide you, whether it's a business coach, friends, other peer groups that you join? That's incredibly important for people. And I was I still am part of the small business owners community here in the Milwaukee area, because it's a place where entrepreneurs and small business owners can get together and collaborate. And it is one of the more vibrant communities I've ever been part of.
Wow. And you know what? When you start a business, especially kind of like what you did, you're like, I might start a business. I might look for a job. Did you get any pushback from anybody in particular about the whole idea of starting a business of your own?
Yes. There were some people say, Lynn, it's hard work. You're never going to make money doing what, doing all that stuff. And, you've never done that before. But that, in some ways, even said, like, you got to, I want to do something different. I want to figure out what it is that brings me joy in life. And even after I started my business, and I thought I was just doing it because the freedom of being the entrepreneur, I can make my own hours and do these things. And a business coach that I did a speed dating session with, again, at this small business owners community, we got to spend just 15 minutes with whatever type of business coaches that we wanted to. And she asked me, Lynn, what brings you joy? I gave her all the normal stuff. She goes, that's not the right answer. Go figure it out. And so she said, go spend a couple of hours in the most boring room in your house, or go somewhere and just lock yourself away. You're allowed to take a phone, pen, and a paper, and just think about the times when you were really professionally satisfied, when you were really proud of what you did, and when you had the most fun. And out of that come out, what brings me joy is that I create. Even though I'm a finance and accounting person, have always been, I create stuff which is not typical, but what I create is the systems, information, and work processes that help make other people successful.
Love it. I do feel like, and I've had this conversation a couple times with other people, different ways, though. It's always different. that the creative part of what we do in business, we are creators, we are creative, and it doesn't have to be that we're creating art or painting a painting, taking pictures. We're creating when we develop a podcast, when we create a new, like I know that you've been working really hard and launched already at the time of this episode, an entire new system that you're excited about. And you'll talk about it more on the summit coming up. Yay! And people can register for that. You can look it up at Restart Your Business Summit. If you go to joyminder.com and get more information about the summit, and Lynn will be one of our speakers. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're talking about that people can look forward to?
Yeah, it's a service called Guided Money Tours. And so it really came out of a need that I think I've identified, and I mentioned a little bit before with a bookkeeper. There's all these people helping us manage our business, and they all have different roles. This is, the difference between a bookkeeper, an accountant, a CPA. When do you call your banker? When you need the money? No, wrong answer. You need to have a banker way before that. Tax prep versus tax advice. Personal financial management versus business financial management. All these things come together, and nobody knows who all these people are. And so part of a guided money tour that's the first one, is helping you understand the business management ecosystem. Tour number 2 is 3-year review of your financial statements. And not just here's what the numbers are, but why they are what they are. What are the stories that a CFO's eyes are going to see that maybe you're not used to reading yet? And oh, by the way, we're going to watch money flow into your money through your financial statements before it flows out. Because the biggest question that I get from business owners is, I made $150,000 a year. My accountant told me, where the hell is it? That, and people just don't, that's the biggest question I get, which leads me to the question I love to ask them is, hey, business owner, if I told you you made $1 million last year, how would you feel? And everybody goes, oh, that would be great. That would be fantastic. I says, yeah, but what if you expected to make 2 million? Then all of a sudden, they're done. And so the last part of the money tour is, let's take a financial look at your business. And so giving you one-stop shop to jumpstart your financial management. That's what it is. And for people listening to this podcast or coming to see me later on, I'm going to offer you a 10% discount.
Great. So I have one more big question I have to ask you. But before we do that, Lynn, how can people get in touch with you? Where can they find you? Are you active on social media? Do you have a website? Go ahead and spell things out even for our podcast listeners.
Yeah, my website should be your first. It's Data to Profit. That's the word data, DATA, the number 2, the word profit, PROFIT.net. So that's where you can find me and everything about me. I am also very much active on LinkedIn. And so Lynn Corazzi, LYNN, CORAZZI is the spelling. I'm the only Corazzi on LinkedIn that I know of. And you can find me there. And the cool thing about it is I do a lot of posts. I do a newsletter. I do a monthly newsletter. So I really try to get out to people. But you know what? But it's all about what's going to help them. And so if you want to find me, look for either on LinkedIn or my website's the best place.
Perfect. So my big question to wrap this up is, so there's those people out there. We say it's 41% of Americans dream of starting a business. You and I are in that 6 to 9% that have jumped into it. Not all of them are profitable, but we're working, we're believing, right? And then we've got about 30 to 33% sitting out there, maybe starting something on the side, great, or maybe just hesitating, not starting anything yet. What advice would you give to those people?
Those people really look at and begin thinking about what do you want to achieve with your business, and making sure that before you just jump in and start doing it, start building some relationships and really talk to somebody. What does it take to market your business? What are the things that you're going to have to do if you start hiring people? This comes into the HR compliance world. And certainly, when you open up your first LLC and you write that check to the state, whatever state you're in, that's when cash flow starts in your business. Pay attention to your monies to your numbers and your money from day one. Understand it, get some help along the way. Again, you can do it for a little while, but in every area that you're not the expert, find somebody who is, talk to them first.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was talking to somebody even like someone who helps people buy franchises. I ask him what type of training they get. You get the books, you get some training, you get some orientation, but do they teach you how to actually run your business? Not always. So understand, ask a lot of questions first.
Excellent advice. Appreciate it. Anybody listening on this podcast, you do want to come over and check this out on YouTube. This man just has a smile on his face this whole time, and it's just wonderful. He's such a engaging, friendly person, not the nerd that you think. Just and by the way, Lynn, it's 2025. What is it? You said something, a check? Just kidding. You said write a check. I actually did write a check once this year, and we're, no, we just, but the proverbial check. We'll go with that. Well, thank you, Lynn. This has been, as expected, a joy to have you on Beyond the Business Plan. So much.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to being with you at the summit in September.
We are coming up on it.
Yes.
So thank you to our audience as well for joining us on the Business Plan to unleash your joyful business potential. And remember, like we've talked about today, entrepreneurship is a voyage you can take with other people. So find your tribe for your journey. Maybe it's jumping into our Facebook group for Beyond the Business Plan. We have a Facebook group for the Restart Your Business Summit. Come on in and join that. The water's warm, and you'll find that community that can help you on your entrepreneurial journey. And then, of course, give us a like or subscribe or whatever you do on your favorite podcast or video platform, and keep shining and aligning with your purpose and Joyminder Solutions. And come on back every week for our new inspiring episodes. So until that time, I'm LeAnn Lyon. .com, your Chief Joy Officer, signing off. Keep spreading the joy, keep leading with heart, and I'll catch you on the next wave of success.
Hey, sales setters, are you ready to jumpstart your entrepreneurial journey or give your business a powerful refresh? Join us at the next Restart Your Business Summit, where you'll discover the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive. Learn more at joyminder.com. That's JOYMINDER.com, and look for the Restart Your Business Summit icon. Don't miss out. Your future business awaits. Thank you all for joining us today on Beyond the Business Plan. It's been a joy and a privilege to share this space with you. For more inspiring stories, tools, and actionable insights, make sure to follow us on your favorite video platform. Visit my website, LeAnnLyon.com, and keep leading with heart. And I'll catch you on the next wave of success.